Welcome to Mind the Word, a space where everyone's welcome to share their experiences about language. Do you want to join me? Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's get started. So the video about today is something that maybe it's a bit different to what you've been listening to so far, because I talk a lot about communication, but today I want to talk about something specifically, which is actually being the receptor of communication, so being the listener. So this is something that a lot of people don't pay that much attention to, and you might have seen a lot of books and videos and just articles and just in general media towards being a good speaker and towards being a good communicator in general. But there is very, very little about being a good listener, and that's such an important piece of communication itself, because you can't really get to any agreement whatsoever if you are not ready to listen and contribute to someone else's experience or verbal experience. I'm just going to put out there a few things about whether you consider yourself a good listener, and if you don't, how you can improve that. So as I was mentioning, a lot of people don't really pay attention to the being a listener thing. And there was something that I did a few years ago, which was some sort of workshop where we would be training our listening skills and also our critical thinking. So the exercise about it was basically to have to wait for your turn to talk in a group of 15 people, and also really reflect on what other people are saying. So doing that exercise really told me that we're not very good at listening. We're not very trained on it. It's not our fault. It's not out there for us to grasp. So based on that, I want you to reflect on something. So I want you to think if you're able to put someone else's intention to talk and wish to share their thoughts, emotions, or just words about whatever topic they want to share before your own sort of selfish idea wanting to talk and wanting to share another experience. So it's something that you can also reflect yourself. Are you able to do that? Are you really able to just listen to one person, to just respectfully talk to a person and listen to a person without necessarily interrupting that person? Okay, so I want you to really reflect on whether you do these sort of techniques. So are you able to put someone else's need to communicate their feelings and their emotions and their thoughts before your own personal experience? So for instance, something that we tend to do a lot is to say when we're just having a conversation with someone, to say, "Oh, I know exactly how you feel." That's very unlikely to be actually real, and that's something that you can work on, because you never really know how someone exactly is feeling, and that's a very sign of awareness that you can just do and catch yourself in that situation. And the other thing is, and related to this, is can you wait your turn to talk? So sometimes, if it's some sort of conversation, of course, like the turn taking can be a bit more informal, but sometimes if you're in a more formal environment, you also have to be aware, is this my turn to talk? Because sometimes someone can give different arguments or statements for whatever they're talking about, and you really have to respect that their need to communicate their whole statement before you interrupt them and give your point of view. So if you're able to really quiet down and wait for your turn to really assess the other person's point of view, you're really going to show really good listening skills. So the next thing that I want you to pay attention to is the actual point of communication. So when you're talking to someone and you're in a more of a heated conversation, are you able to deal with disagreement? How do you deal with disagreement? Do you jump on someone else when that person disagrees with you, or can you calmly actually listen to that person and after that rephrase your own point of view? And the second thing that is very important about that sort of moment when we disagree with someone, regardless of the topic, is can you actually completely rephrase or put in your own words what the other person said? This is an exercise that is so helpful because, and as I was mentioning before, that exercise that I did a few years ago really opened my eyes and my ears on how little we listen to each other. So if you try this a few times, it doesn't have to be a really formal environment, just with your friends or with your family. If you try to rephrase someone else's point of view or perspective or statement, and if you can do it, that is a sign that you're a really good listener. But let me tell you something, that's actually something that is very hard to do. So it's really good exercise to train on your own, to train with your friends, to really try to really exactly say what someone else said before, and make your statement disagreeing with that point. So an exercise that you can really do when you're trying to realize if you're a good listener is to, especially in heated conversations, are you able to rephrase someone else's words? Are you, before you jump into disagreeing with someone, can you say, okay, I understand what you say, which is this and this and this, but I disagree because of this and this and this. So can you actually see the disagreement between your statement and that other person's statement? And can you, in the first place, rephrase it? I think that's a very good exercise that you can try with your friends and with your family, and even with your colleagues if you want to go a little bit on a higher level. And it's really going to show you if you're able to do this, and if you can't just yet, it's going to really improve your ability to do it. So the last piece of advice that I want to give you, or tip, is just how you are with follow-up questions and gestures. So this is something that really is as a conversation, and without interrupting, as I was saying before, can you do follow-up questions to make sure that the person you're talking to really is being listened to. Oh, how do you feel about that? Or who is this person? Or what does this person mean to you? So that's something that really can help you engage in the conversation. And the other thing that I think is very helpful, and this definitely goes with the flow of the channel, which is communication, is being aware of all the cultural differences that there is in sort of conversations and communication. So for instance, in Spanish, I know that it's very normal to follow up with yeah, sí, entiendo, todo eso. So all these kind of things that show that you are really listening to the person. You really have to engage yourself, keep using certain words to mention that. But I know that in other cultures, this can come across as rude. So you have to also be aware on who you're talking to and in what kind of context. And I think that will improve a lot, not only your communication skills, but your cultural awareness. I'm sure that there is so many other things that you can do to improve your listening skills, but these are some things that I've been aware that I do or I do not do myself and that I want to improve. So this is just based on personal experience. But if you have any of your tips, please share them with me. I would be really happy to listen to them or even do a follow-up video. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Very important that you did this today, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.